Do you live in a world filled with corporate data? Are you plagued by siloed departments? Are your lackluster growth strategies demolishing your chances for success? Are you held captive by the evil menace, Lord Lack? Lack of time, lack of strategy, and lack of the most important and powerful tool in your superhero tool belt, knowledge. Never fear, HubHeroes. Get ready to don your cape and mask, move into action, and become the Hub Hero your organization needs. Tune in each week to join the League of Extraordinary Inbound Heroes as we help you educate, empower, and execute. HubHeroes, it's time to unite and activate your powers.
And we are back.
Can we get some help with some lack of sleep?
Right.
God,
I mean, it is.
yes.
George, can you help us out with that? What do you got for us?
George, could you talk us to bed at night, please?
I mean, I guess I could tuck you in and tell you a bedtime story and give you
Can
some
you tell me about bedtime
melatonin.
stories, George?
Maybe
I
some
think that would've
melatonin
done
might
it.
help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was an orange sprocket. Okay, that's enough of that.
We should have like the ABCs of HubSpot children's book
Yeah.
Well,
for account-based marketing.
guys, I understand that we're tired, confused. I don't know what's happening right now, but here's what's even more confusing. It feels like it was just yesterday that we did the Inbound 24 recap episode. And we are now here doing our first preview show of Inbound 25.
Yeah.
What is time?
Time flies.
Yeah. It's this whole year. I mean, not to be that guy, but this whole year is like lickety
Yeah,
split.
it just went right into the fourth dimension, dude.
Yeah.
Why? Why did that happen?
I don't know. I think it's
Was there
AI's
just
fault.
like
Yeah, it makes
is
everything
AI's
seem
fault?
faster.
Maybe it's
Just saw
HubSpot
for a lot of
updates fault.
the updates were kind of crazy this year.
Oh, they still are. Although today wasn't bad. We only had 3 today.
Only 3.
Yeah,
Only
only
three.
3.
Only
yeah.
3.
Well, usually, listen. Usually it's 7 to 9. It's usually 7 to 9 updates per day if we average it out that we talk about on the customer platform podcast that we do daily, 7 to 9.
I got to do the Monday morning briefing after this. How many
Yeah.
do I have to friggin'?
Yeah,
I haven't even.
It's like
looked
a
yet.
week's worth.
yeah.
Good Lord.
There's a real interesting one this morning, by the way. This is not why we're here, and I know Liz is going to herd cats here in a minute. But there's a real interesting
good.
one where, go listen to the customer platform show, and then you'll find it out there. There you go.
Oh, what a tease.
I know. I've got 53 years of practice for that.
We're going to ease into the inbound previewing, okay?
Oh,
Because
okay.
as our longtime listeners may know, we cover inbound quite a bit leading up to it. So I know a lot of us are trying to figure out inbound this year, especially since it's now on the West Coast this year instead of the East Coast, which is just still kind of emotionally jarring for me. I still emotionally am trying to figure out my feelings around that. But today, we're going to do a little preview of what we know about what's happening from a sessions and speakers perspective. A little teaser, a little amuse-bouche, if you will, to get us all excited. But before we dig into
what?
that,
What were those last
Amuse-bouche.
words you just said?
Get
amuse-bouche.
cultured, George. An amuse-bouche.
God,
Oh,
yeah, you got to get.
hang
those
on.
amuse.
Let me go grab my cane over here on the left because
Oh, man.
Should be next to your
Jenkins with
aperitifs.
his
Oh my God.
cane.
Well, now that we've done that, and George's bouche is clearly amused, George, how are you feeling going into this inbound this year? What are your initial thoughts so far before we dig into this conversation?
well, as one to be always honest and transparent, I'm a little bit nervous with a dash of frustrated and maybe a sprinkle of anticipation and angst. So that's
like the whole gamut.
like listen, I'm excited because it's
feelings.
inbound. Don't get me wrong, I love inbound. I'm frustrated because it's not going to be the place that I love going for so many years. But I'm anticipating loving where I'm going to be. But I'm also anxious because when I have stepped on stage for the last XYZ years, I've known the building, I've known the stages, I've known where to get my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I've known, I've just known. Boston
I don't know
has
if you
become
have
a
that
second.
Dunkin' over there.
Yeah, I don't know. So Boston
They
has
definitely
become a second home, a home away from home, if you will. So I have never, 0 times in my life, been to San Francisco, right? So there's a whole ball of wax. But again, majorly excited. I'm also dropping like a very important framework that we've been working on and building for the last year plus onto an audience. Yeah, so I'm all the things, I think.
Did I manifest this into reality? Wasn't I complaining about it being in Boston every single year, and then it happened?
Well, if
Dang
I
it,
can
Max.
blame you, I'll blame you. Yeah.
Yeah,
blame
I
you.
think we'll
Yeah.
just go with that.
Yeah, we'll say it's
Blame me.
Max's fault.
Don't worry, there's Dunkin' Donuts out there. I'm currently finding the one closest to the Muskegon Center.
See, that's why we're friends. That's why we're friends.
Exactly.
I mean, that and other reasons. But the fact that you'll know where Dunkin' is when we get there is marvelous.
We'll figure it out.
By the way, this podcast is not sponsored by, but could be if they
But
reach
it
out
does-
by
It
Dunkin'.
does run on Dunkin'.
Yeah, it does run on Dunkin'. It's just not sponsored by it.
Yeah.
Chad, how are you feeling going into this?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the Moscone Center before, having just like by nature, by extension, with my wife being in the events industry. I've done a bunch of different things at the Moscone Center before, so over the years, so I definitely know the area, and I think it's going to be a good venue for what we're doing, and I think they've seen some interesting new session types, which I think I'm going to be interested to, go check out and, talk about today when we get into it. But yeah, I mean, I think there's I usually try not to set expectations and hold things too tightly, because I think I could be pleasantly surprised, even though I did get used to Boston and really enjoyed the area. I mean, apparently, though, we're going to possibly or most likely going back to Boston like the next year.
Well,
I think it's already confirmed.
Yeah,
it's
they said that, I think.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought. So, anyway, it's just like a little one-off, little trip to San Fran
Yeah.
for one time.
Which
Hey, George.
means that I think now when I hear it that way, okay, so my brain is literally transforming as we're on this podcast because, first of all, Chad, you gave me a little less intrepidation. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Because you've been there and you're like, hey, it's a good venue. But also then I'm like, well, if this is like a one-off, maybe I need to find ways to just make the most of it.
Yeah.
Like, how can I actually go maybe see some things that I need to see while I'm there and things like that.
100%.
So, yeah.
A little bit of an update on the Dunkin' Donuts situation, George.
Oh, yeah. Tell me. Let's go.
Oh boy.
You know how like in Massachusetts, like we pretty much have Dunkins at like every other corner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much the case in San Francisco.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Is it 17 miles away?
Starbucks.
It may as well be 17 miles away.
It's not walkable, in other words.
No, not walkable. No, I mean marathonable, not walkable. It's not like right outside the Moscone Center.
So you literally have to pay an Uber.
It's at a place called San Bruno.
Oh, okay.
Feels different than San Francisco.
Okay.
So yeah, that might not be an option.
It's like a $50 Uber ride and a $2 coffee. Yeah.
So what you're saying is someone's going to have to get the old, coffee square box and bring the box, and they'll probably make a killing for all the East Coasters.
There's Sextant coffee roasters right across the street.
Okay.
And it's a nice
it's
little
a nautical navigation tool, George. All right.
Oh,
yeah.
sextant.
It's a sextant. There's
Sextant. Okay.
Cool it there, brother.
Okay.
Brother.
I wasn't sure what Max was saying. I was like, what word are you trying to say?
Either. But you know what? It looks wonderful, and it's right across the street.
Well, that's good. As long as there's coffee.
They draw the little leaves in your coffee.
No, we're not on track.
Everybody's totally on track. This is absolutely fine. Speaking of
not
being on track. All right, guys. Wrangle it up.
Hi.
Here's what we're going to be doing today. Each of us are going to be sharing the 2 speakers or sessions we are looking forward to most. Now, keeping in mind, the agenda is still coming together. There is still a ton to be announced. But I think we can all agree, or at least I was pretty excited. When I was initially looking at what speakers were announced and what sessions were out, I was like, oh, okay, nothing too much yet. But then when I started digging deeper, I got really excited. Spoiler alert, I think they finally heard my cries about content and content strategy this year. So that makes me really, really just absolutely tickled. But George, why don't we start with yours? What do you got?
Are we doing one at a time? Like flip-flop back and forth?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's flip-flop back.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that.
So, by the way, I have 3. But okay, so did I say that?
Of course you do.
Okay,
one
so
thing as
like, okay, so the first one though, like, listen, for years and years and years, I absolutely loved watching Brian Halligan and Dharmesh on stage together, and then I loved watching them do the handoff, the baton, like hit this section, that section, and I've really enjoyed just the way that Dharmesh has become the most amazing introverted extrovert speaker, and dad jokes, and just amazing. So I'm really excited for the session that is building what's next, and it's a special solo keynote with HubSpot co-founder and CTO Dharmesh Shah. And he's going to explore how to build and lead in an era of unprecedented change. Now, I love those 2 words, build and lead. And I can't wait to see what he has to say about leading in this, like, we said it at the beginning of this. Like, where did the year go? Like, how much is changing? HubSpot updates, AI. And so he's going to talk from AI transformation to evolving customer expectations. And it says he'll decode the patterns that define tomorrow's successful companies. And as one who always likes to be on the cutting edge, and as one who also nerds out on patterns that I see in like and organizations and all of those things, like I just get excited. But here's where it seals the deal for me. It says that we, as the attendees, by the way, this is open to all levels, by the way, like if you're VIP or like the whatever, but we'll walk away with a clear vision of what's coming and the practical steps to position your business ahead of the curve. So that's the number 1 pick, Dharmesh. Always a fan, will be a fan. Can't wait to sit in there and just take a ton of notes. And when I say ton of notes, I literally mean have my AI assistant transcribe what he's saying so I can turn it into a piece of content quite quickly after that session is over.
Phenomenal.
That's what's up.
Max.
I'd like to highlight a meetup that's happening.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And I think it's just so it's Allie Clifford from HubSpot is hosting it, and shout out to Allie. I'm not just plugging this because me and Allie started as solutions engineers together. I'm highlighting this because it helps. Sure. I'm highlighting this because I think it's interesting the type of meetup that we're seeing being held at Inbound, of all places. And it's called Humanizing the Healthcare Patient.
It's called what?
Experience.
Can you help us with that?
Oh, wait. Do I have one? Humanizing. No. I think I have.
Is this my humanizing?
There we go.
Yeah.
I feel very uncomfortable.
The healthcare patient experience. Now, I'm not somebody who's like typically interested in healthcare myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like being healthy, trying to be healthy, trying to get control of my health. Sure.
Yeah.
The healthcare industry, less so interested in it.
Right.
Right. The thing that really kind of struck me is, can you believe that we're in a world where at Inbound, we're talking about patient experience in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
And how far HubSpot has come along.
Yeah.
From being a little SEO tool.
Because you know
all
how
the
many
way to
years
having these conversations.
Yeah. You know how many years we had to say as partners, oh yeah, HubSpot's not HIPAA compliant. You don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And now, not only can you do that in HubSpot, but now there's meetups like you're talking about, Max.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting sign of the times, right? Of how people are thinking about using HubSpot and how much it's evolved. So, shout out. We're talking about healthcare patient experiences at Inbound now, which is just a wild concept. So excited for that.
Phenomenal. Chad?
Yeah.
Meow.
All right. So there's the interactive workflow automation. You vote, we build live.
Yes.
Session. And
I no longer have 3.
Right. It's a simple strat. And I just think that, oh man, I mean, I would love to be like actually on the stage side of this one, because like I want to give them something just wild to build or whatever on the during the I think it's a deep dive, right? And I think that'd be so fun.
I want to make it play Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, make it play Stairway to Heaven, right? Exactly. But let's see, there's the new like session types. Let's see, this one is deep dive, but there's some of those new session types, so we'll maybe cover that on my next one because one of them is one of those. But I just think that'll be so fun because like I love workflows, but I also love that like it has ways to get around its own limitations, and I wonder how many people are going to ask them to do things that just won't natively be possible in workflows. But I'm also curious to see how much of a HubSpot-centric, HubSpot first, like how much effort do you try to go through to not have to use a custom-coded action step to accomplish your goal within a workflow? And I'm interested to see how that would go, because sometimes just put a custom-coded action in there, make it easier or whatever, like depending on what it is. But it could theoretically be maintained by somebody else a little bit more easily if you didn't necessarily have to put the code in there, right? So I think it'll be, I want to see what people come up with. Maybe I'll have a couple things, that I want to dump in there, and I think that'd be a real fun one.
Yeah. So I no longer have 3 because this was one of mine. And I want to go less on the HubSpot.
Thank you, Chad, for your service.
Yes, you're awesome. Well, actually, I might be able to find another one in the next 5 minutes, so we'll see. So I want to go less on the HubSpot and technical side and go more on the human side for a second. I just want to give a large round of applause to Allie, Tyler. And honestly, even let's just throw Will in there, because all 3 of them have been, there we go. Because all 3 of them have been putting in the work, creating YouTube videos. Right. And I'll never forget when I was creating YouTube videos. This was back, I think, at the Sales Lion, and the show HubSpot Hacks showed up on YouTube. And I was like, finally, somebody else realizes that valuable tutorials around HubSpot is a smart thing to actually create on the internet. And while I've gone from the Sales Lion to Impulse Creative to now Jorge doing them at Sidekick Strategies, HubSpot Hacks they're the OG. I'll call them the OG of HubSpot tutorials. And so I've had the opportunity to sit and eat dinner with Allie, and we've chatted. I think she's awesome. I think the team's awesome. And I just like the fact that at an Inbound event, you literally see host of HubSpot Hacks YouTube channel with 26,000 subscribers. I'm so happy for the HubSpot Hacks YouTube channel and the team and Allie, and just the ability to have this purpose of HubSpot tutorials. Be passionate enough to continue to do it over and over and over again, and the persistence to keep going, and the love of the people that they're helping, the platform that they're teaching. And by the way, I just gave them the 4 cornerstones of the Superhuman Framework. And as I'm doing this podcast, I'm like, they should be an example in my talk, which I won't talk about right now at Inbound, because they're a great example. This YouTube channel and what they're doing is a great example of the Superhuman Framework and human-centric marketing. Okay, I'm done.
I thought you had one more.
No. Well, Liz is going to go, I think. And then I'll go with my second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. So as you guys know, I have loved that they do talk about content and content strategy to some degree every year. I've always felt there has been a shortfall or a deficit in sessions that really dig into, okay, now that you have your content strategy, right? Now that you have the actual topics, what is it that you're going to say? How do you actually tell stories that help you show who you are, what you believe, get you in front of the right person at the right time, exactly when they need you most, and they see you? Because often when people create content, particularly if you're subscribing to things like They Ask You Answer, we can end up with a lot of blogs or videos that are literally just like Wikipedia articles. No soul, no humanity, no resonance, nothing that makes someone lean in and connect with you. Right. And that may have been something that was fine years ago, but that's just not the reality we live in now, particularly with the rise of AI and how that is creating this uncanny valley effect where there's this waterfall of really bad, mediocre content where everybody is just like, yeah, that's AI. Enter stage left Brietta Calloway, who is going to be doing an incredible 90-minute deep dive session called The Science of Visibility, Storytelling That Builds Trust. And what really caught my attention was the first line in her session description, which is your brand isn't just competing for attention, it's competing for belief. And so she's going to be taking everybody through a 90-minute working session that talks through the actual science of storytelling that kind of checks both boxes, right? How do you engage in someone's logic side of their brain, but also the emotional side of their brain? Because as much as we would like to pretend that people make fact-based decisions only, that's simply not the case, right? Like, how many times have we been on the losing end of a deal and we ask, why did we lose to a competitor? And it's something nebulous like culture fit, just like things that are not measured by KPIs or things you can find in a case study. And I think, storytelling for people like me and you, George, and others have always been important. We've always seen this. I think it is now becoming more urgent because of the rise of AI. But these are not new hacks. These are not new strategies. These are the principles that people who are great storytellers have always been trying to embrace. And so seeing that surfaced at Inbound just makes me incredibly happy. That's mine. Yeah. George, take us through your 2nd through 5 speakers, please.
No. It's just 2nd. Sheesh. Shots fired.
Pew.
By the way, Max, I need you to send me that sound effect for "That's Hot." I've had so many times that I've needed to use that. Yeah, I need to add that.
I've got a whole Will Smith button.
W's in the
and it's also a Drake button at the same time.
Fortnite.
Yeah,
wow.
W's in the shot.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Oh,
congratulations.
Oh my God.
It'll cycle to That's Hot at some point.
Okay. So, you know what I think's hot? What makes me happy? I do love me some AI, and I also have. Listen, I'll be completely honest. Like a lot of my AI journey has been ChatGPT, OpenAI, but I also have been messing around with Anthropic's Claude, and I've also watched some videos where a man named Dario has just dropped some super bombs, and also I'm a big fan of Yamini of HubSpot as well, and so to have both of them be part of a session that how AI will transform businesses in the next 18 months, which, by the way, 18 months in the world of AI is like 50 years.
That's like 2 doublings of performance.
I'm just, it's crazy, right? But so in their, what they're having is they're having a candid conversation. And again, this is 2 CEOs that I would say, and the description says they're at the forefront of AI. And they're going to explore the questions every leader faces. How do you build AI systems that are safe, steerable, and aligned with human values? Can I get an amen on the
Human.
values? What is scalable AI driven? Now notice it's not AI powered. Am I winning the victory? AI driven growth actually look like? How do you lead through disruption when the rules are being rewritten in real time? Again, can I get an amen to that? This isn't just another AI discussion. It's a practical conversation about navigating the most consequential transformation of your lifetime, which I do believe we're in. Look, last night, Michael Stelzner, social media examiner. He also has an AI podcast. The episode where I talked about my clone was literally released, like I think last week. But he put a post out. What do you do, or what do you say to somebody who is opposed to AI? And I had the most simplest comment. I was like, if they're opposed to AI, it's like being opposed to fire. It's like being opposed to electricity. It's like being opposed to the internet. I try to help them ease into at least getting started. This has been such a transformational, and we're just at the beginning period of what will be human civilization. And I'm not trying to be grandiose when I say that. Like, I know you'll look back at this and it'll be like the cotton gin, the the car,
the wheel, dude.
The wheel,
it's like the wheel.
yeah. And so, like, when this description says, practical conversation about navigating the most consequential transformation of our lifetime, it's not blowing smoke up your butt. And so I'm really excited to see like Yamini and Dario just like hash this out. Because as somebody who is trying to, again, keep my feet rooted deep in
Humanity.
And what makes
keeps it going.
I'll just keep that button on for the rest of the podcast. Deeply rooted in my humanity, and not lose my brain over everything that is happening so fast in our culture, tech, everything else. Like, I'm just super interested to sit down and listen to this conversation and hopefully be able to glean some insights to at least the next 6 months, 12 months, as this title says, 18 months of how we're going to kind of navigate this amazing craziness that we find ourselves in.
Maximus.
This one's going to be quick. Sean Evans is doing a Hot Ones with Brian Halligan.
Let's go.
What?
It's going to be, yeah.
He's gonna get
I thought he was just going to come do a talk about like building a YouTube channel or something, but no, it's a Hot Ones episode with Brian Halligan.
I love it.
I
So
need Sean
good.
Evans to ask Brian Halligan, while his face is full of hot wings, why we can't do bulk tagging on blog posts in HubSpot.
Oh,
I say this.
shots fired.
It's been a long weekend, guys. It's been a long weekend. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Halligan's not going to know the answer to that question.
He knows a guy or gal, though, but
Yeah. Let's just say he's so far removed that he's doing Hot Ones episodes with Chris Evans and Inbound. Yeah. But that's sick. I mean, I like the whole, I feel like this is like the invasion of the YouTubers this year. Like, we got Marquise Brownlee coming in to talk about,
Really?
He's coming in and doing a whole like tech, like he's doing an actual talk, right? He's talking about tech. I mean, I can't act like I understand exactly what they're gonna talk about there, but he's doing some
what he's
talk around
he's
tech.
talking about dope tech.
Dope tech. Yeah, he's gonna come
he's
review
talking
an
about dope
iPhone,
tech.
whatever iPhone comes out right before.
He's probably gonna bring it.
Unbox it. Yeah, the Unbox Therapy guy's gonna come out. They're gonna open up an iPad or something. I don't know. And talk about AI.
They're gonna open up Breeze. Breeze Copilot.
You're gonna open up a Breeze Copilot. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be sick.
But Max, I want to rewind on something you said or kind of alluded to. It's like this year's kind of the attack of the YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a business owner or marketer, you might want to pay attention to that statement. Listen, I mentioned HubSpot hacks and Allie in the team. YouTube, Hot Ones, YouTube, right? Tech, the latest iPhone, YouTube. I'm surprised they don't have Jimmy Mr. Beast come. Maybe that's next year. YouTube. Like, if you're not actively trying to figure out how to leverage that channel in a human way for your organization, like, anyway, it's not my turn. I'll
Max
shut
has
up.
a some fantastical thing in his brain right now.
We locked 50 marketers in a room in HubSpot.
That's literally going to say, I'm like, oh, they're going to lock them in overnight, and then they're not allowed to leave. And if they get caught by building security, they don't get $500,000.
And if their CTA doesn't get clicked in the first 24 hours,
right?
Yeah,
they win $1 million. They don't.
That'd be amazing. You know what you do is you just like get the venue staff to like put up a touch screen monitor somewhere. And then boom, you know, like everybody's going to walk by and click on that sucker.
Yeah. That would be funny.
Anyway.
Who's next?
Chadwick.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Shod.
Yeah.
So like, I'm actually pretty interested. Like, you know how there's different session types. So they'd have like breakouts or whatever. They have deep dives. And, you know, a lot of people really love the deep dives. And I mean, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I think there's like a couple of like different ones that are Academy labs. So they have to do with like the HubSpot Academy folks doing different things. And, you know, there's been so many additional Breeze AI like workflow actions and just different things like that. And I think it'd be really interesting to see the lab for HubSpot Breeze AI for workflow automation and see, you know, maybe there's going to be some additional workflow action endpoints that they're going to add for either enriching records or running different, you know, Breeze actions or things like that. And I'd be interested to see also how it compares to like the ChatGPT integration, you know, because I mean, there's so many things where Breeze just knows your AI data sources, your ICP, your, you know, different things about your business, which is so helpful. And, you know, I'm curious to see what they come up with. And so it's tagged as like an advanced level class, or like lab. But that would be, I think that'd be pretty interesting to see. And it's got a couple of the HubSpot inbound professors. But I think if I'm not mistaken, Nicole, let's see, I'm going to butcher this, Perez or something. But anyway, I've seen her on the developer YouTube channel quite a few times. She's newer to there, if I'm not mistaken, but I think that will be very interesting, you know, because again, I think workflows, their workflows are point and click, but they work best if you come at them from a really analytical perspective for not having to constantly go in and hit the workflow errors, you know, tab and ignore things or whatever. So I'm curious to see what kind of outputs that, you know, you can get, if you can get more structured outputs in your Breeze actions, because that's one of the things that's hard with you know, an AI output is getting it to output distinct properties and use those distinct properties or those distinct answers inside of a workflow effectively, you know, different things like that. So I'm curious, you know, what kind of things they're going to come up with or what kind of things they're going to tackle with that.
I think it's really important for a lot of folks to lean into what you just said, Chad, in those type of sessions. One, I'm already getting asked, like, when should I use the GPT connector? When should I use Copilot? When should I use Breeze workflows? Like, I'm already getting those types of questions. And what can I do with the GPT connector or the Claude like MCP connector? And so there has to be some like straight up dope education around those pieces. I mean, not to mention that Copilot just got rebuilt from the ground up. It still might be in beta. I don't know if it's released yet, but like Copilot is coming out brand new with a whole bunch of new stuff that you can do just in platform based on these things. So like you do have to kind of think about what is possible and where is it possible, and almost think completely differently when you're trying to use AI either connected or internally or in workflow form with HubSpot. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be quiet.
It's a whole different ballgame. I mean, I think they're going to have to like make the workflow action. It's like to allow you to choose specific output properties like you do with a custom coded action. Like when you're building a custom coded action, you can say, I want to have these output properties. This is going to be like a string, a number. This is going to be a drop down with specific options. This is going to be a date, things like that. Like you're going to need to be able to choose those as action outputs for your AI steps. And I don't know if they're there yet, but like that's going to be really necessary for getting ordered and structured and repeatably usable data from an AI source, things like that. But anyway, it's only getting better and it's changing so fast. The answer that was the answer, 6 months ago is not the answer anymore.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you also know like so many people are just working off of one model. They just open ChatGPT and they stay on 4.0 for their whole life until the default model changes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then I introduced somebody this weekend to reasoning models, and the difference in the answer output blew their mind. They're like, I had no idea that like there was different things for different reasons. So it's like, it's hard because, people just use products. Right. And I think this, hopefully this will help, like maybe even level up my own, knowledge and experience about how Breeze in workflows was designed.
Right.
And I'm interested to see all that.
Love it. Liz, I think it's you next, right?
It is me. My last one obviously also has to do with storytelling, but it's a different side of it. So Morgan J. Ingram, who is the CEO and founder of AMP Social, is going to be doing a great talk about how to use customer insights data to influence your storytelling. And I think this is going to be a really important session for any of the content writers or content creators out there who, let's admit it, sometimes you get a little too wedded to the idea of your craft, right? And you view data and sales to be at odds with the quote unquote brand storytelling that you're trying to do. But the reality is data, at least from my perspective, has always been my most powerful resources when it comes to understanding the human stories I need to tell. We can get in our own heads as writers thinking, well, this is how a story should be told. This is the stuff that we need to show up with. These are the arguments we need to be making. But in reality, our goal is to meet people where they are. We are not creating blog posts to hang up in a museum so someone can sit there and have 15 different theories about why we wrote the thing that we did. We're doing it to build a bridge between ourselves and the humans we are built to serve with what we do ourselves. And so data is your number one resource. So I'm very excited for this session personally. I think it is a long overdue discussion that I don't nearly see enough of at Inbound, and I'm very excited to see it happen. That's my takeaway. Shocker, the content nerd shows up with 2 content sessions. You're welcome.
Well, it's not like anything I said surprised anybody.
That's what makes this show great, though, is we all think in different ways and like different things. And so the audience will be able to pick and choose like, oh, I didn't think about that one, but let me add that to my repertoire. How do you like that word for?
I love it. George, very big question before we go into wrap up. Does your boosh feel amused?
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
George, take us home today. It's not just the one thing that I'm going to ask you for. Yeah. You can actually give us multiple things if you'd like.
Oh, wow.
We're only a couple of short months out from Inbound. This snuck up on us. It's on a different coast. We still don't have the full agenda yet. To our listeners at home, what would you be encouraging them to do right now to get ready? What should be the thing that they are focusing on the most?
I mean, let's be honest. Yesterday, I went out and bought new kicks. So I got me some new comfortable shoes, a couple different pair. So, right now, you should be thinking about what you want to learn, though, not what you're going to wear. I was kind of jesting, although I did really get some new shoes. You should be thinking about.
I got some new Crocs. I'm right there with you, dude.
There you go. There you go. Are they like the Minion Crocs?
No, just like standard white
standard
ones. I went with white this time.
Okay, there you go.
You running those suckers in sport mode, brother?
Mm-hmm. 4-wheel drive, baby.
So you should be thinking about what you want to learn. And I've probably said this historically for other inbound episodes, but listen, it's not like everything that you're already doing, but it's some things that you might not yet be doing. And so what do you want to learn and how do you push yourself to the edge? That's what I think you should be doing now. Thinking about how you're going to put your agenda together. When you do think about how you're going to put your agenda together, also making sure you're leaving space for like some downtime to decompress on all of the things that you're learning, and also have some space to have conversations with other humans in the kind of walls of the Moscone. Am I saying that right?
Moscone.
I just think it's like Marscapone.
Yeah, Moscone Center.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
That's what I think they should be thinking about. Like, go through the sessions, go through the inbound website with like a fine tooth comb. Or if you want to have some fun, you could go over to the clone, helper.georgebthomas.com, explain to the clone who you are, what you do, and ask it to give you some suggestions of maybe sessions that you should go to, because it's fully trained up on the inbound agenda as it sits right now as well. So, yeah, but think about what your agenda should look like.
Love it. Well, gentlemen, that's it.
Yeah.
We've come to the end of our show.
Yeah, well, kind of. We haven't done this for a while.
No.
Y'all have a bedtime story that you're like, could you read me a bedtime story? So, I think that was
we
my
sound adorable.
best,
Thank you very much.
attempt at Max.
That's your best Max.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bedtime story? Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
you wanted to me?
Yep, there you go. So under the glow of the Moscone Center lanterns, the Hub Heroes crew, George, Max, Chad, and Liz, arrived at Inbound 2025 for 3 days of 200 plus sessions across dynamic stages, all designed to spark fresh ideas and growth. They wandered through immersive workshops where AI-driven marketing tactics felt like bedtime spells, and swap stories about main stage keynotes that challenged their thinking about breakout sessions that unlocked real hands-on tactics. Just as the night wind whispered through the Moscone South halls, they spotted a shy sprite named Inboundia, lost among the networking lounges. With gentle guidance, the host showed her how to conjure chatbots and answered every question, mapped customer journeys like treasure hunts, and turned insights into shining results. As the final keynote's glow faded, Inboundia danced beneath the HubSpot moon, her toolkit brimming with newfound confidence, and the Hub Heroes smiled, knowing tomorrow's sessions would help countless more dreams take flight. Sleep tight, and remember, with the right team and the right tools, every story can find a perfect ending. Okay, Hub Heroes, we've reached the end of another episode. Will Lord Lack continue to loom over the community, or will we be able to defeat him in the next episode of the Hub Heroes Podcast? Make sure you tune in and find out in the next episode. Make sure you head over to thehubheroes.com to get the latest episodes and become part of the League of Heroes. FYI, if you're part of the League of Heroes, you'll get the show notes right in your inbox, and they come with some hidden power-up potential as well. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, leave a review if you like what you're listening to, and use the hashtag HubHeroes Podcast on any of the socials, and let us know what strategy conversation you'd like to listen into next. Until next time, when we meet and combine our forces, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble human, and of course, always be looking for a way to be someone's hero.